started. There's quite a bit of Nova there. Hopefully y'all can make some connections with friends through the chat function here. So welcome today to our student employment and money management presentation. I'll introduce my colleagues in just a moment. I want to make sure that we are allowing for other students to join us, but we are going to go ahead and record this session just in case we have others that were unable to join us for the live, we can be able to share it. My name is Lizette Rebellera. I serve as an Associate Dean of Students and Director for New Student and Family Programs here at Virginia Tech, and I'm excited to introduce you to our colleagues in just a moment. I want to share with you a little bit more about our office and what it offers for you. So as I said, this session is employment and money management, and I'll go ahead and allow Joy to introduce herself and her role here on campus.
Hello, everyone. My name is Joy Capers, and I work in career and professional development. So I'm one of the career advisors there. I work specifically with first-generation students. I also oversee Hokie Mentorship Connect, which we'll be talking about a little later on today.
Thank you, Joy. We also have Weston.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Weston Truss. I am an Assistant Director of Diversity Initiatives and Community Outreach. Within Career and Professional Development, I am also a career advisor, and specifically my role is designed to have an even greater impact over underrepresented and underserved communities across campus, specifically within Career and Professional Development. And hopefully we'll have a little bit more of a conversation relating to that later on today.
Thank you. And Kevin.
I'll be rounding out the speakers for today. I'm Kevin Sutton. I work in a department on campus called Hokie Wellness. They do a whole lot of different wellness related, education. And my role on campus is financial well-being. So that is why I'm here today to talk more on the money management piece later at the session.
Thank you all for joining us today. So just in sharing more, a little bit more as we welcome you to Virginia Tech, New Hokies, we want to make sure that we're providing you with quite a bit of information throughout your time with us. And so if you haven't attended first year orientation or transfer orientation, please sign up for that. Want to make sure that you're seeing us in that space. We're providing you with quite a bit of information and resources there separate from our webinar series. Our office also facilitates international student orientation and ensuring that our international students have a warm welcome to campus and become acclimated to the new experience here in the United States. We facilitate Welcome Week. We're excited to be able to share with you all more about Welcome Week in the coming weeks. We have quite a bit lined up, and this is going to be your in-person orientation transition experience, an opportunity for you to connect with all the other new students who are joining you in your class, to be able to build friendships, relationships, familiarize yourself with campus, meet with academic partners across the university, and much more. We also facilitate family weekends. And so in the fall and the spring semester, we have family weekend opportunities for you and your family to engage, for you to invite your family members to campus, show them around, give them a little bit of a taste of what it means to be a Hokie here at Virginia Tech. So in our webinar series, we've been focused on intentionally helping you in your transition and making sure that you're hearing from key specific campus partners as you prepare to make your, next leap into Virginia Tech life here. And so we want to make sure you're most prepared. You're going to see quite a bit of information from us. And in May and July, we had everything ranging between financial aid and your financial checklist. Today, our employment opportunities and getting Hokie ready. And these sessions are designed, again, to be an additional piece of your orientation experience as you continue to think about what are the most important pieces that you need assistance with, and that we know we have colleagues here on campus that can help you through that. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Joy and Weston to share more with you about their services.
So at Career and Professional Development, our mission is to assist all students at Virginia Tech, whether you're a first-year student, through a graduate level, and through all your college years in your journey of career and professional development. So we advise students, provide resources for students, and also sponsor events as well. So I'll turn it over to Weston to talk about a little bit more in depth what it is that we do at CPD, which is what we sometimes refer to Career and Professional Development as.
Absolutely. And thank you so much for that awesome introduction there, Joy. I really appreciate it. And so within career and professional development, we really focus on heavily on being able to explore ourselves, careers, as well as our major, whether it's a first-year student or whether it's a student who is just arriving 3 weeks into their semester term. So a lot of our students, whether it is going into engineering or whether it's going into the Pamplin College of Business and majoring in marketing. And if you're a little bit lost, that's okay, because we want to really be able to utilize some of the information and resources within our office to really allow you to be the most best person as you begin to advance as a professional here at Virginia Tech. So we allow you to explore your majors so you can learn more about Virginia Tech majors, what Virginia Tech graduates are doing with their major, and as you begin the process of selecting your own major and connecting that information with your own career choices. And so we do that by being able to make that determination on information that you're already thinking about. Also, some of your values. What are your values, such as what type of organization do you want to go into? What type of skill sets do you add value whenever you participate in that internship or that organization during that externship, or even during that on-campus employment that you had the opportunity to gain? And so that directly or indirectly relates to sometimes your career choices. Also, we allow you to begin the process of exploring that career, whether it is trying to be a professor or a teacher, or whether it happens to be an engineer. And we want you to be able to make that decision through some research through our office, of course. And so we think that's crucially important. And so additional to that is that we have a variety of different job search tools as well as resources within our office that can help you be very successful as young professionals, or whether you decide to go on to graduate school or professional schools, or et cetera. And so one of our premier resources that all of our students generally know about is something called Handshake. Handshake is directly targeting our early career professionals, and it's a really great resource, whether you are looking directly for an internship, on-campus employment, or even certain types of organizations for full-time employment. It's a go-to resource. I strongly recommend it to all of my students, especially whenever we're talking about the job search resource or the job search platform, as long as you have a PID, and I think most of you do if you are at this orientation session. I think you will be able to go ahead and start to log on to Handshake and start to build your profile so that you can be able to interact with those organizations as necessary, especially as you begin to progress as a student here at Virginia Tech. Also, another really great resource is Going Global, which you can gain access to it via Handshake. Going global, as the name infers, is as if you're only looking for opportunities abroad, but actually you can look for opportunities here in the United States as well. It just simply provides you a broader way of really looking for opportunities, such as giving you more information about career guides. Career guides are learning more about resumes and cover letters, not only for the United States, but also cover letters and resume requirements for other countries, such as in Germany, they require that you put a picture as well as your marital status directly on your cover letter. That would violate quite a bit of anti-discrimination laws here in the United States, but that is the cultural differences as it relates to Germany itself. And so those are different things that you want to make sure that you think about, especially if you're thinking about opportunities abroad. And of course, you can come to Virginia CPD to learn more information about that. Also is Career Shift is another really great resource that I strongly recommend to students as well, because of course, it not only targets early career professionals, but it also targets for mid as well as senior level positions. So as you begin to advance as professionals outside of Virginia Tech, I think it's also a really great resource as well, but also as you're looking for internships as well. LinkedIn, if you don't have a LinkedIn profile at this point, we strongly recommend that all of our students, as well as students who are transitioning to Virginia Tech, to definitely get onto LinkedIn and begin the process of building your network, but also building professional networks with alumni here at Virginia Tech as well. And so again, really trying to expand upon what exactly Handshake really provides to you as a student. Yes, it directly allows you to look for opportunities and internships, also for on-campus employment. Yes, but it also allows you to directly engage and learn more about what organizations are possibly coming to campus specifically for job fairs that are sponsored through our office. And sometimes I believe that information is shared from other offices as well, Also, if you're looking directly for industry connections, a lot of those employers, especially if you build your profile similarly to LinkedIn, you can begin the process of messaging employers on the platform as well. So I think it's an awesome resource, and I strongly recommend that each of you take the time today go to the Career and Professional Development website and learn more about Handshake. Also, advising appointments, you bet. It's really great. You can come have an appointment with me or my colleague Joy Capers, or even one of our other awesome and valuable resources within our office as well. And so that's something that's crucial. And yes, while I strongly recommend that you look on Handshake for on-campus employment, while that's a really great resource, you should also contact departments directly as well, because all employment opportunities will not be on that platform. And that's the reason why Career and Professional Development continuously invest in new job search tools, because the more that you have a variety of different opportunities that are showcasing on these variety of different job search platforms and tools, they're more likely for you to be very successful whenever you gain opportunities as well. And so I think that's crucially important. And so all that's missing as it relates to Handshake is you. And so we want you to make sure that you're definitely joining Handshake today. And again, and so as I mentioned a bit ago about the more information that you place on the platform, such as you let it know about your job interests, your preferences, as well as outcomes, and also your variety of different job search filters that you will start to input into the system, such as you place your different career experiences that you've gained thus far. That will allow you to be more successful in terms of your overall search, but also employers who are looking directly at Virginia Tech students who may be studying data analytics here at Virginia Tech. So they might already try to see, okay, what are your prior experiences? What skills have you developed? And how can you be beneficial for their organization? And so Handshake is a pivotal resource, and I strongly recommend that again for you. And so absolutely. And I will go ahead and turn that over to Joy Capers.
So one of the questions we get asked most about in career and professional development is, how can I gain experience while I'm still a student? How can I help narrow down my options? Or how can I make sure that my major aligns with my career outcomes? That's where experiential learning comes on. So experiential learning basically means hands-on career-related experience. So we don't want students to just limit themselves to one experience or just one type of experience. There are many different ways you can gain hands-on experience. And so some individuals think that, as a freshman or a first-year student, it might be too early to start. It's never too early to start. We have opportunities that you can search for on Handshake. Let's say if you're specifically an international student, there are certain job search requirements for international students. If you look on Handshake, you opt into a search for employers that are looking to hire international students, you will get that list. So it helps you narrow down. If you're looking for volunteer work, part-time work, maybe a summer job, there's stepping stones, and they can help you eliminate some options or focus on your options even more. So we have opportunities, like I said, on campus, off campus. We have paid internships, unpaid internships. We also work with different employers where we have what we call the cooperative externship and internship program. So that allows you to get credit for a position, maybe it's part-time or full-time. It will actually show on your transcript. And so there's different opportunities that we provide within career and professional development, but there are also opportunities that are provided within your local college or your department as well. Some of our research, we get assessment back from our graduates, and they said that having that hands-on experience helped them tremendously. So that's why we want all students to have access to that hands-on experience. As you can look, here's a chart from one of our recent surveys of 2018, 2019 Virginia Tech graduates. So after an individual graduates from Virginia Tech, we want to know where they land. We want to know more about the experience that they had. So that can help us to make sure we are providing the best services possible for our students. And so some individuals, 31% of our participants, said they regretted and wish they had more experiential learning opportunities. They wanted to do field study opportunities. Some of the 56% had paid internships. 14% said they had unpaid internship opportunities. And so by working with our career advisors in our office, Each of us have different liaison areas. So my liaison area is first gen. Like Weston said, he has underserved populations, different diversity populations, but we also have some advisors that have specific college liaison roles. So they work closely with our college partners to know what's going on and to keep informed. So even though you might think of Virginia Tech as a very large campus, it's a little world all unto its own, and we make sure that we keep abreast of what's going on so that we can provide the best services possible for our students. And so there are many types of career-related experiences like we were talking about. You can do undergraduate research, you can do volunteer work. We have VT Engage and some other organizations on campus that do local and also national volunteer work. And we can help you translate that work that you're doing in the community onto specific goals and add it to your resume as well. So we can help you formulate it so you can show the transferable skills. So transferable skills are skills that can apply to any position or job. And so, you know, even if you're an athlete, there are skills and things that you develop there that we can help you do. You might just do a job shadowing opportunity. You might work part-time, summer job, and you don't think about how this can translate into something you're doing later on. So let us help you see the benefit and the value in these types of opportunities, and also explore some opportunities that you may not have thought about previously. And so we work directly with employers. So our employers come to us to do on-campus interviews, do career fairs. This past year has meant virtually doing so. And so when we ask them, you know what are you looking for in students? So no matter the industry, no matter the major, what are you looking for? And so this is what we come up with our career readiness or professional competencies. So we've developed this guide, which includes leadership, communication, creativity and problem solving, teamwork and interpersonal, professionalism and productivity, global perspective, and digital fluency. So these are those transferable skills I was talking about. So skills, no matter what field or major or industry you're in, they're looking to make sure you have these upon graduation. So we help you look for opportunities that give you these skills, or if you already have these skills, how to translate that and how to, you know, talk to someone about it, or how to showcase it on your cover letter and resume. A lot of times you do things you don't think about, like how these can be, you know, professional skills or competencies, how to sell yourself, right? So that's where we come in and help you to connect the dots. So sometimes it's easier to talk about someone else or something else that you're doing versus talking about yourself. So we all see that as a work in progress, even more seasoned professionals have to work on. So a lot of times when you come to campus, you'll hear us talk about strengths or professional competencies. We're talking about these skills that employers are looking for to get you hired and have career success, because Virginia Tech is a strengths campus. So we do talk about this quite a bit. And so as we talk about, there are many different opportunities that we provide in career and professional development. One such opportunity that's really important, and I might be a little biased because I oversee this program, but it's Hokie Mentorship Connect. So as you're joining the Hokie Mentorship Connect platform, you will see that there are alumni there ready and able to help you. So once you become a Hokie, you're part of the Hokie Nation Network, as we like to say. There are thousands upon thousands of individuals waiting to help you. And so we developed Hokie Mentorship Connect about 2 years ago to help students connect with alumni for career-related support. So Hokie Mentorship Connect allows Virginia Tech students to connect with alumni. You get to ask them questions, see what opportunities they have, get some advice from someone that's been there, done that before. So networking is key when you're looking at exploring your different opportunities, going through career exploration, or looking for experiential learning opportunities. And so because there's so many alumni, they don't always get to come back to campus. So we thought the best way to help you reach them was to have a central online source where you can log on anytime, anywhere, as long as you have a mobile device, a desktop, laptop, and internet access. So the program exists to promote fellowship and networking for career development purposes. So a lot of times you'll hear people say it's not always what you know, but who you know as well. And so, you know, Hokies love to help Hokies. And so what we've seen from this program is that alumni are telling students about how their major allowed them to have certain positions. Not everyone has a linear or straight career path, right? Sometimes they have to, get hands-on experience, the experiential learning. Maybe they changed their major. Maybe they ended up in an industry or field that they didn't think they were going to get into initially. And I see that a lot working with first generation populations. And so instead of, going through those pitfalls or maybe going through some of those hurdles, these alumni are helping you to formulate those opportunities and to avoid some of those maybe financial or professional mistakes they've made. So they want to help you. And so we're hoping that you'll join the platform so you can start engaging and getting those conversations started as well. And then on the next slide, you can see some of the benefits that our participants have seen since joining Hokie Mentorship Connect. So our students enjoy getting firsthand viewpoints and previous student experiences. So they like hearing about, from some of our more senior alumni, like how was, the drill field when you were a student? Did you actually use what we did in class in your workplace now? And so just having those opportunities to engage and connect with someone that knows what they're going through has been very helpful for them. And so also thinking about exposure to new experience and points of view. So we have a lot of diversity on the platform. And so just being able to connect with someone who you might not connect with in your normal day-to-day interactions is a great opportunity on the platform. And you also get some legal inside information about a particular industry, a company, how a working environment is, what skills are needed, maybe even get some suggestions on internship job shadowing opportunities, because they're going to give you that honest, thoughtful advice and feedback. And you're also going to get that one-on-one professional interaction. So maybe in your current life, you don't have access to someone who's a veterinarian or who's a molecular engineer. Well, you can jump on the platform and find someone that can nurture you and help you grow in that area. And they also think it helps them become better prepared for entering the workforce. So sometimes you don't know what to expect entering the workforce. So having someone before you go to a job interview or a career fair that works there and gives you some information that helps open your eyes or helps you to stand out from other applicants is key. And so they also see enhanced goal setting, they're better prepared for interview, and they just love the opportunity to ask questions and gain insight from somewhere who really knows the ins and outs of that job or internship opportunity. And also, our alumni like to give you access to their professional network as well. So they'll help you, they'll suggest some other individuals for you to connect with, and it just keeps going on and on as you nurture those relationships as well. So we have quite a few benefits, but there could be endless as you utilize the platform as well. And so there are multiple participation options for Hokie Mentorship Connect. So we wanted to make sure that there are multiple opportunities based on your interest and availability for you to connect with alumni. We also have faculty and staff that are able to utilize a platform and engage with you as well. So if you're looking for something specific, one-on-one relationship where you're completing goals, such as maybe you want an online portfolio, you're looking for an internship opportunity, you want to apply for graduate school, we have structured mentorship. That's a modules that walk you through that 6-month relationship. So our platform is student initiated. So that means you fill out a profile similar to LinkedIn with your career interests, your major interests, and what help topics you would like help with. And then the platform will suggest mentors for you, or you can search for mentors. And so all of the interactions are based upon you reaching out to the alumni. So they don't even see you or get to interact until you reach out. You can also do flash mentorship. So this feature is our most popular feature. And some students see that their professors in some of their first year experience courses are starting to have this be an assignment. So where you're doing questions, which we call an informational interview, where you're reaching out to someone in a field of interest or a specific company that you're interested in, and just connecting them to get some, information from them, a general conversation. It may result in just one conversation or multiple conversations. We also have faculty and staff on campus that sponsor our discussion board groups. So some of the colleges have discussion board groups specifically for individuals interested in that college, or participants of that college. We also have different affinity groups such as First Gen, some of our culture and community centers representing some of our minority underserved populations also have discussion board groups in there. So that way you can have conversations and ask questions with multiple people about specific career and professional development needs. And our newest feature is called Projects, which allows our alumni to post opportunities for students so they can be paid or unpaid. And that allows students to gain some additional experience. So those are what we call our micro internships. So they're not long in nature. They can be a week or a few weeks, and that'll allow you to gain some additional experience. And so all communication can be kept within the platform. So you don't have to give out your personal information, your personal email, phone number. You're allowed to message or video chat within the platform. And you don't have to do this process alone. You can reach out to me. I've helped formulate relationships, formulate messages, but we also have various templates as well. Helpful articles, videos, flyers, and drafts of how to initiate that conversation. So similar to that initial conversation, which we call the elevator pitch, where you're expressing your interest and why you want to talk to someone, we have versions of that for you on the platform as well. And then if you have a general question where you wouldn't mind having anyone answer, we have a main discussion board group as well.
Joy, just before we continue, there's a question in the chat asking for those participation options. Those are found within the Hokie Mentorship Connect website, correct?
Yes, so everything is found within the Hokie Mentorship Connect website. So you can participate in one or all four if you would like. And so Kevin's going to do me the favor and play this video. It's like a brief overview of how to utilize the platform.
Hi Hokies, and welcome to Career Q&A today. My name is Annie Labe Jenkins and I'm an advisor in career and professional development. Hi Hokies.
Kiara Johnson, and I am the lead student ambassador of Hokie Mentorship Connect.
Thanks, Kiara. So today we're going to be talking about Hokie Mentorship Connect. For those of you who aren't already aware, Hokie Mentorship Connect is a web platform aimed at helping undergraduate and graduate students connect with alumni mentors. The platform was officially launched in fall of 2019, and there's already thousands of students and alum that have joined. There's really three primary ways for you to interact with alum on the platform. There's structured mentorship, flash mentorship, and discussion board groups. Think of structured mentorship as an ongoing relationship that you form with an alum to progress towards your career goals. In contrast, flash mentorship is a great opportunity for you to ask quick questions of an alum about resumes, job search strategies, their path to their career, or other questions. And then with discussion board groups, think of a written Q&A style correspondence that you can have with other students as well as alum. So if you're interested in joining, and you should be, you can get started by going to mentoring.career.vt.edu. Kiara is going to walk us through the site. So this is what the main page of the site looks like. And once you're on the site, if you're interested in finding a sustained mentor, you can click the mentoring program tab up towards the top of the screen. From there, at the top right, there's a green button that says Join Program. If you click that button, it'll take you through a list of questions that you can fill out. And from there, you can go ahead and hit Save. What that will do is it will put you in a queue for approval. And once you're approved, you can find a mentor that's a good match for you. If you're interested in flash mentorship, you can click the Explore the Community tab at the top of the page. From there, you can scroll through the list of alumni that are on the platform. You can filter by the alumni's career interests and other factors to make sure that you connect with one who's a good fit for you. If you're interested in the discussion boards, you can click the Group tabs at the top of the page. The Group tab will take you to some of the discussion boards that you may be interested in joining. In contrast, if you wanted to look at the discussion board that's available to everybody all at once, you can click the Discussion tab at the top of the page, and this will take you to the discussion board that everyone can see. Wonderful. So we hope that you'll use this platform and take this as an opportunity to connect with alumni in your field of interest. If any of you have more questions about today's topic, or if you'd like to talk to an advisor in career and professional development about your specific questions, You can visit our website at career.vt.edu, and you can schedule an appointment through Handshake. If you have a question that you would like us to answer on Career Q&A today, you can.
Not sure why that ended prematurely, but.
Thank you, Kevin.
So do you want me to go back and play those last few seconds, or?
No, that's okay. I'll put a copy of the link in the chat. And like I said, our contact information is provided here. Also put a link in the chat if you want to see the video. As Kevin said in the chat, we will be having a recording of this distributed by New Student and Family Programs. I'm not sure what their distribution schedule is, but they will have the recording of this available. But you can also email us at cpd@vt.edu or go to our website, career.vt.edu. If it's specific to Hokie Mentorship Connect, you can email cpdmentorship@vt.edu. But also, as long as you have a VT email account, you can go ahead and get signed up on the Hokie Mentorship Connect website by going to mentoring.career.vt.edu. And so that's our portion of it. I'm going to turn it over to you, Kevin, so you can do your portion.
Thank you. Looks like we have one question in the question and answer submission. Just to summarize, an international student interested in part-time jobs, is there limitations that international students need to consider for part-time jobs?
So there are going to be some work visa issues that may be present. So if you go on Hokie Mentorship Connect, we have alumni that can help you walk through that process as well from their student perspective. But also on Handshake, once you have your account, you can look for specific jobs, whether they're on campus or off campus, that will work with your particular visa that you have. We also work specifically with Cranwell International to make sure we're abreast of all work and visa requirements as well. So it depends on an individual's work release requirements, but you can make an appointment with a career advisor who serves as our international student liaison to get more detailed information. And I'll also put our webpage for international students, that information in the chat as well.
Thank you. All right, so I'm going to jump in with the money management piece, right? So we just talked about getting connected with alumni and employers and finding opportunities while you are a student, as well as when you're graduating. But no matter when this occurs in your life, in most cases, you're going to have to manage money. For some of you, this coming to college might be your first time where you do have money that you're managing on your own. Maybe you're getting your first job through Handshake, right? Maybe you find that opportunity in your first year. Well, at its simplest, when it comes to managing money, you can say you're generally doing okay if you're spending less than you're earning, right? So if you keep your expenses within the amount that you earn every week or every 2 weeks, in general, you're doing okay. However, what my role on campus is to take you to that next level. And that usually involves constructing a budget, which is a financial outline of estimated earnings and expenses for a specific period of time. Most of the time when we think about a budget, sometimes we think of that in a negative way. You can think of it as just a personal savings and spending plan. Usually this is for a 1-month period of time. However, if you get paid, every week and this is your first time managing money, maybe you make a weekly budget for yourself, right? There's no right or wrong way to do this. You can do this on a sheet of paper. I call that like the old school way of doing it. You write out, what your income is for that period of time. So if it's a monthly budget, how much you earn each month. And then you think about what your expenses are. How much is your rent payment? If you're living on campus, you pay your bill from Virginia Tech will have a lot of these expenses up front. So you wouldn't have to pay a rent payment every month if you're living on campus, right? But if you're planning to live off campus, this would be a really big consideration for you to have in mind. If you do choose to keep your budget on a sheet of paper, it's really important that you keep it visible. While it's great for you to make a budget one time, you put some thought into what you're going to spend each month. If you just do that once and then throw the budget sheet away, or you put it on the back of a table and you put other papers on top of it, you're not really using that budget sheet. that might not be the most effective place for you to make your budget. However, for some people, doing it on paper is what works the best. They make the budget, they put it on their fridge or somewhere where they see it every day, and it keeps finances and being aware of their financial situation kind of on their mind, so that they don't get into a situation where they spend more than they're earning and then feel a lot more stress, right? So this is going to be a college experience for you where you're going to be excited. My role, and a lot of the work that I try to do, is to make sure that your financial situation is not one of the stressors keeping you back from the experiences you'd like to have as a student. A lot of students use apps on their phone for budgeting. They use Excel. For those of you that are really excited to use Excel, you can use different formulas. It can auto-populate if you want. So if you want something that's a little bit more in-depth, Excel is a great option there. Or if you want something that you're just starting out, maybe coming up with a budget is a little bit daunting, just use the notes section of your phone. Think about what you're going to spend, and then you can keep track of your expenses right there. So those are just some suggestions for you. I'd like you all to utilize the chat feature now, because a lot of budgeting, when you're thinking about how you're going to cut back, we hear a lot of discussion on knowing the difference between your wants and your needs. Can anyone share in the chat what comes to mind when you think of, let's start with needs. What are some needs that you would spend money on? I see food. I have medicine. I mean, I get all of these, but we'll just get a little brief list here. Toiletries, rent, yep. Shelter, rent, shelter. Yeah, those are some pretty good needs. All right, clothing. I was gonna say, what's something else that you need to get around, right? You're probably gonna have to wear clothes to get to class now that we're in person. So thinking about, all these different needs. I'll end with insurance. Let's talk about some wants. What are some things that you'd spend money on that you would classify as a want? A new TV, games, PS4 games. Yeah, let's say it's a PS4. A new car. I like how we're specifying new, right? A new TV, a new car. We saw movies in here. Room decorations. Yep, those could be considered wants. So we said a new car. Let's reverse. Let's go back to this one. A new car might be a want. And there are some people where a car might actually be a need. So a car might be a need for you if maybe you're a commuter student. Maybe you don't live within walking distance to campus, so you need a car to get to class. Maybe you need that car to get to your internship or your job if you're working off campus. So for those instances, yeah, a car might be a need. For other students, maybe your first year here, or you're even however long you're living on campus. If you use the bus system, which we have a really great public transportation system in Blacksburg, it takes you to campus, to Main Street, where the restaurants, shopping. There's a really good public transportation system here. So for some students, maybe you don't need a car. So for those students, maybe your car would be a want. So thinking about this, it's not as simple as just saying, oh, some things are wants and some things are needs. There's a little bit of a gray area sometimes, and that's okay. What we're gonna see here is the real reason, if you're trying to make a financial behavioral change, you're gonna wanna think about the underlying reason for each expense. So we just talked about, wants versus needs. You might not have been exposed to this before, so I'm going to do a very vast oversimplification of this. In this field of psychology, they call this Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And I want to draw emphasis that it is the hierarchy of needs. It's not Maslow's hierarchy of wants. So all of these things, to some extent, are a need. So you might be finding that you're spending money on eating out with friends, right? And maybe that's how you're meeting that love and belonging need. Right. So while you might intuitively think, oh, eating out with friends is a want and not a need, you are still fulfilling some need. Where it can become problematic is if you are overspending, right? If you were to look at your budget sheet and you were to ask yourself, okay, here's all my expenses. Why am I spending money in these different ways? And you see love and belonging, social life, keep on coming up for most of your expenses. That's usually an indicator to you that that's something you can cut back on, right? Maybe there's a different way to meet that need of love and belonging without eating out at restaurants. Maybe you have a potluck with your friends, or maybe you just go on a hike. Maybe it's not even about the food, but it's about spending time together. And also this can change over time. So I would have never thought I would write this. But as we saw over the course of the last year or two, sometimes certain expenses make you feel safe. So if you go to the store and you see that there's only one package of toilet paper left, it might make you feel safe to be the person that buys that, right? So this can change over time. Nothing is set in stone. What you're going to notice when you first get to college, and even throughout your life, it's going to be natural that your spending behavior is going to change when you're experiencing 3 different phenomena. The first is when you're around different people. So you might even notice this now. You spend money differently when you're with your friends than maybe if you were out with your parents or your grandma or whoever else, right? You might spend money differently. You might spend money differently when you're in a new location. So if you're ever on vacation, you might spend money differently than if you were at home. And the last is when you're feeling different emotions. So some people might spend a lot of money when they're feeling really happy and excited, right? All 3 of those things really connect when you're just starting college. So it's going to be natural that even if you're used to right now being the person that always saves their money, let's say you have a job while you're in high school or this summer, even if you're really great at saving money now, you might find yourself spending more than you thought you would when you get here. And that is natural, right? However, what you can do to be proactive is to make that budget and to think through, okay, how much do I really want to spend? How much am I going to give myself freedom to spend however I want for fun money? And over the course of your first semester, you'll come into realizing what your expenses are going to look like. So it's not something that you're going to have set right away, but depending on your funding situation for college, it might dictate how you're spending. So let's start with saying if you have income. Let's say you are working. You got that job through Handshake, you work in the dining hall, and you have a paycheck that you get twice a month. Well, if you're spending using that income, you can do what I was saying with that budget. You think about how much your income is each month and your expenses, and you want your expenses to be less than that income. When it's different is when we're using a refund. If you're using your refund money, which if you attended the financial aid session last month, you might have heard about this, but just in case you haven't, I'll give a brief overview of what a refund is. Some of you might be using financial aid, scholarships, grants, loans to pay for your college experience, which is also very natural. Over half of college students in the United States need to borrow loans to go to college. So if that is a situation you're in, do know that it's not just you, and a lot of people are going through that. What a refund is, and I really don't like how they call it a refund, because when I think of a refund, I think of getting extra money back. When a refund is generated by a loan, you still have to pay all that money back. So it's just really careful if you are getting a refund from Virginia, or it feels like it's coming from Virginia Tech because of your student loans. You have a really great opportunity to reduce the amount you borrow instead of receiving a large refund. So if you make that budget for what you need for the whole semester or the full year, and you say, okay, I need $4,000 for the whole year in a refund to pay for, maybe a flight home for the holiday breaks or whatever those expenses are, because you thought it through by making a budget. And you say, I need $4,000, but I have an offered refund of $6,000. You might want to reduce that borrowing from $6,000 down to $4,000 so that you don't end up having to pay a lot more money over the course of your lifetime after you graduate. I know I'm here today talking about money management and managing that paycheck, but I want you also to know that my office is a resource in Hokie Wellness for anything related to your postgraduate life as well. So when it comes to knowing how you're going to pay your loans, if you want to make payments while you're in school, All of those things fall within Hokie Wellness here. So just know that you have support when it comes to all things related to your financial situation here. The most important thing, if you were going to set a to-do list for yourself, if you do have a job, is to start an emergency fund. I have shared on the screen here 3 different benchmarks of a way to kind of track how you're doing there. The very first part that you're going to see is a comfort number. So what this number is if you were to look at your bank account and you see under this amount of money available to you, it would stress you out and it would carry over to the other activities of your life, right? I'm from Hokie Wellness. I'm thinking about your whole well-being, not just, making the most money. It's, are you losing sleep because of your finances? Are you not eating as many meals a day as you like to be because you can't afford, those meals, or you're stressed about spending money on food? All of those things impact your well-being. So I really think it should be a priority to make sure that you are saving and have enough saved so that you don't feel permanently stressed when you have other things to think about, such as your classes, or your friends, your roommates. You have other things going on that are way more exciting than being stressed about your money. So what you can do is you can save a little bit from each paycheck. It could be even as low as $5. Start small, something you won't notice, missing right away. Start building until you get to that comfort number. It's in red because you want to really prioritize getting there. So that might mean that you do make some short-term sacrifices, like maybe you don't get coffee, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Maybe you make coffee at home instead of going out and getting it, right? So you save some money there. The next benchmark, and this is something that people don't usually get to their freshman year, but this is a good goal for you to think about just while you're in college, getting to 3 months expenses. So that would include you looking at your budget and saying, okay, this is my 1 month's expenses, let's multiply it by 3. So if you're off campus, that would include your rent, money, food, money, which I would encourage you to think of groceries and eating out as 2 separate lines on the budget, because they feel like very different expenses. Thinking about all those other monthly expenses, maybe it's the cost of gas to get to and from your job. Multiply that by 3, that's your next goal. Then finally, I would be remiss if I didn't say the ultimate emergency fund goal that most financial experts recommend is 6 months income. This is a long-term goal. If you can get to that while you're a student, that is fine. However, most people don't do this until they're middle of their careers. But that is like the long-term goal for you just to have in mind. So I think it's really helpful to have your eye on the prize so you can measure your progress to getting there. As of right now, just thinking about what number you would like to always have available to you, try to get to that number. And then the important thing is once you get there, to not immediately spend it all right away. The point of the emergency fund is that you don't touch it, except for to put more money into it as you get paid. So when it does come to those of you that do borrow student loans, again, borrow only what you need. Make that plan in advance, make that budget so you know what you need to actually borrow. And if you are borrowing loans, it's so important to graduate. Sometimes you might take more than 4 years to get your degree. Maybe you're in a 5-year program. Maybe it takes you 6 years, right? A lot of people take more than 4 years. They have a different track to getting that degree, and that's okay. But what we really find difficult is if a student borrowed for 4 years and they have 1 semester left, but they don't finish to get that degree, but they have all of this debt, right? Getting that degree in most cases increases your income potential after you graduate. So if you are going to borrow loans, you want to make sure that you're getting what you're paying for. And it's more than just getting a higher income, right? If you have a college degree, you're less likely to smoke. You're more likely to have money saved for retirement. You're more likely to have an emergency fund. You're more likely to have health insurance covered by your employer than people without degrees. So there's more benefits to a college degree on the financial side than just getting more salary. Plus, there's all those other benefits, right? You have the social connections you're making at college. There's just so many benefits. So you want to make sure that you're making the most of this opportunity. If you're taking loans, that's an investment in yourself. The financial aid session last month discussed the federal direct student loan program and private loans. Thank you, Joy, for sending the refund information for from the bursar's office. Bursar's office, just for those of you that are not familiar, that is the office that handles our student billing, right? So even though they call it a bursar, you can think of it as that's the place you go to if you have questions on your student bill. And if you're borrowing private loans, that would be from like a bank or an outside entity other than the federal government. A lot of students here borrow from both, and that is okay. And again, I'm a resource for you as you're thinking about how you're going to go about handling that debt. Some steps for financial success I want to end with today is thinking about your semester expenses, but also your day-to-day expenses. How are you going to fund that? Are you going to work? Are you using a credit card? If you have a credit card, have you used a credit card before? You know, a lot of times we see students come to campus and they've never managed a credit card before, had a job, and then all of a sudden they're expected to just know how to do all these things effectively, and it can be really stressful. So it's really important if you are going to be using a credit card that you familiarize yourself with how you're going to make payments on it, you know, what the interest rate is. You know, a lot of students want to get a credit card because they want to boost their credit score, which is again an area that I support students in understanding more. But the rule of thumb here is if you are going to charge something on the card, pay it off in full every month or every week even. Get in the habit of being an active member of your finances. The campus dining center has a dining flex guide for the different dining plan options you have available to you. It really breaks down how often you should be going to the dining hall to make sure that your money lasts all semester. This is a huge thing I see with first year students is they might be spending a lot of money at the dining halls when they first get here, right? Remember, your spending behavior might change when you're in different locations with different people feeling different emotions. But by October, November, they might be running out of their money. And that can be really stressful as well. So the dining services office has you know, a guide to make sure that you're not going to run out of money. Save for upcoming expenses too. So plan a trip with your friends while you're here. If you're working and you can save a little bit of money each week and you know how much that total trip is going to cost you, maybe in March or whenever you plan this, if you were to count backwards from how many months you have until that trip were to occur, you can estimate how much you need to save so that you're able to have those experiences, right? A lot of times people might say like, oh, let's plan to go, you know, do this thing together. But then if no financial decision action is taken until it's right before that trip is supposed to happen, it might fall through, and that can be really disappointing. So do what you can to be as proactive as possible. If there are any questions, please feel free to add them to the chat. This could be on money management, Hokie Mentorship Connect, career services and professional development. Please feel free to drop those in the chat for us.
We have a few questions, Kevin.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't see that.
Question is, how will we know if we get a refund?
Yes, how will you know if you get a refund? So in addition to the refund the Bursar's website that Joy sent in there, when you go to pay your Virginia Tech bill, it'll show what your charges are as well as what your credits are. So if your credits, so your scholarships, grants, student loans, are greater than the charges, you would get a refund for that difference. Good question.
And I see we have another question. If we accept the work study offer, are we given jobs to choose from, or do we need to go to Handshake and apply? Yes, you do need to go to Handshake and apply. Some employment opportunities are specifically for work study students. And so on-campus departments will specifically post jobs, and they will only be viewable to work study students. You can also do a filter search. So some jobs are going to be jobs that you need to be on campus for, work in person. Others may be done remotely. So there are remote opportunities for students, as this past year has taught us that some positions can be done remotely. And so as soon as you accept that work study offer, you need to go ahead as soon as possible and go into Handshake, because it is a competitive process. So especially now before the academic fall semester starts, or when a lot of these positions are going to be made available. And so I'll put in a plug for myself. There's a Hokie Mentorship Connect position available for work study students as well. And that was going to be live until Wednesday, I believe. But there are quite a few different opportunities and interests as well across campus, and also possibly maybe off campus in the local community as well. So as Kevin was saying, just think about, are you able to do that commute? Will that be extra expenses? And so information about the job, such as the hours, we all know that you're a student first, so a lot of them have flexible hours, but also look at transportation. If you don't have a car, how would you get back and forth? Is that some additional expenses occurred? So just budgeting for those opportunities as well is something to think about if you do want to do an in-person opportunity. And that's a great way to, learn about the ins and outs of campus, and also a great way to meet other students, faculty, and staff, and get those transferable skills, hands-on experience as well that we talked about earlier.
Awesome. I also see there's a question, what is the difference between subsidized and unsubsidized loans? Which one is better than the other? That is a great question. So as a recap, if you attended last month's webinar with financial aid, but this might be new information as well for some of you. So the difference between a subsidized loan and an unsubsidized loan comes down to when the interest starts growing on that loan. So if you have an unsubsidized loan, that means that as soon as the loan pays in from the loan servicer, which is the place where the loan is coming from, it pays directly to Virginia Tech. So even though the loan is in your name, it doesn't go to you first, it pays right to Virginia Tech. As soon as that happens, each semester, interest will start growing on that portion of the loan. So if you borrowed $5,500 for the academic year, $2,750 would pay in for the fall semester, and interest would start growing right away on that $2,750. And then it would grow on the other portion of it as soon as that pays in. That interest will continue to grow all the way through graduation and as you enter repayment. A subsidized loan, like a government subsidy, is something that the government pays to make cheaper. That one will not have interest growing on it until after you graduate. So the difference between the two would be the subsidized loan would be the cheaper option. However, you usually don't get to pick and choose. It's all based on your FAFSA, which loans are offered to you. If you are offered both and you don't need both, so that example before, if you were offered a $6,000 refund, but you only need $4,000, it would make more sense to decline the unsubsidized loan or reduce the unsubsidized loan instead of the subsidized. I believe our financial aid office already does that, for you if you were to reduce your loans. But if that is a situation you're considering, I would definitely reach out to financial aid to make sure that you're getting the loan situation that you want to have. And then in addition to that, there's the Parent Plus loan. So that would be a loan in your parent's name. I saw that coming in through the chat as well. That would also fill in any gaps. So the thought behind the FAFSA is that they will offer you loans and grants in your name first. And then if you still need more money to reach the cost of attendance for Virginia Tech, they might offer a parent loan, a Parent Plus loan instead, in addition to your student loans, where that would be a loan in your parent's name. Same thing though, the loan pays directly to Virginia Tech. Financial aid would be a really great place to talk about your specific situation because everyone's financial plan for college is different, but that's in general what your financial aid package might consist of. Yes, thank you, Joy, for responding to that one in the chat too.
Looks like we have another question. If I accept the offer today, look through the jobs and end up deciding not to work the first semester, can I simply not apply to anything, or do I have to apply once I accept the offer? So if you accept the offer, that is included in your financial aid package. So if you decide that you do not want to work for a semester, that's something you're going to have to disclose the financial aid, because that may affect the package that you've been awarded. So once you accept the offer, that's upon the contingency that you are going to look for a job or opportunity. And so that's included in your award letter or your distribution. So if you don't find something, that is something that you need to communicate, because it could affect your financial aid process.
Yeah, and in addition to that, it's also important to let financial aid know if you are going to opt not to use your federal work study allotment for money, because there are other students that might be interested in federal work study and eligible, but they just may not have enough funding for it yet. So if you are to say no, that opens up the opportunity for other students as well. So that's just another really, really good reason to keep financial aid in the loop. Awesome. Do we see any more questions in the chat, Weston or Joy? Awesome.
Pre-submitted question from Sign Up about remote opportunities. And so Weston and I both know that there are a lot of opportunities that can be done remotely. It's just going to appear from department or the needs, the physical needs. So Weston and I have worked with some students this past year that have been fully remote. Campus is opening up, so it's just going to depend on the opportunities. Some are going to require in-person, some might be a combination of both. And so it just depends on what you'll be doing. But there are opportunities, and on Handshake, you can do a filter search and look for specifically remote opportunities.
And just to add to what Joy has already mentioned, specifically about those remote opportunities on Handshake, again, I will say that there are significant opportunities on the platform for Handshake, but also we strongly recommend that if you are not finding those opportunities and you've already met with a career advisor, we would also recommend to you to reach out to those individual departments, such as the College of Engineering, and maybe there is a specific office within College of Engineering that might be advertising or maybe not advertising a specific role that you might be able to benefit or add value to, and do it remotely. And so those are things that are available here at Virginia Tech, but may not be on Handshake. But we're trying very diligently to get all those different departments on Handshake and utilizing that resource to get directly to our students.
I see what is probably going to be our last question. And so I'm thinking this is going to be for you, Kevin. If I work more hours and get paid more, what happens to my financial aid?
Sure, that's a really great question. This is assuming not your federal work study hours, but let's say you have another job and you're earning money from that. If you are working a lot and you are earning more money, it's not really going to impact your financial aid for the current year. But when you file your FAFSA for, let's say you're a freshman now, you file your FAFSA for your sophomore year, if you earn a certain amount of money, you're going to have to include that on your FAFSA because they look at how much money you've earned, right? The FAFSA looks at everyone that's applying for financial aid to see who needs the most support. And the people that need the most support are usually the ones that have lower income. So you might see a change in your aid package from freshman year to sophomore year if you're working an extremely high amount of hours and getting paid a lot of money. Same thing with changes in your family's finances. In most cases, if you're a student and if you're a full-time student and you're working a couple hours each week on the side, it won't likely impact your financial aid that much from year to year. But that's the general answer. If your situation is different, that would be a really great question for a financial aid counselor too. Some final announcements from our Friends and New Students Family Programs before we close out today. They want you to remember, if you haven't registered for orientation, please do that. To my knowledge, there's some that are filling up, so please make sure you're registering for that. Check your VT email address. I know it can be challenging when maybe you're used to using a different email from high school or just your personal email account. Start getting used to checking your VT email address pretty frequently. You're going to be checking it basically every day when you're a student. Maybe you're hoping classes are canceled or something like that. So get used to checking that VT email address as well. And then also join the New Students Family Programs team next month for their final session in the webinar series with the theme of getting Hokie ready. So as you're approaching the beginning of the semester, that's going to have a lot of really great information to make sure that you're prepared. Lastly, here's our contact information again. If you want to learn more about career and professional development, it's cpd@vt.edu. If you have questions on managing money or financial well-being, that's me, Sutton, SUTTONKL@vt.edu. I know sometimes like an L looks like an I with it being typing, so it's an L. And then orientation or welcome week, there's the orientation@vt.edu email right there. Thank you everyone for joining, and Hope you all have a really great day.